guys, welcome back. Right, okay, so I've just been informed that I actually missed a couple of questions on this week's Ask Snes, so I do apologise. Mark Sega sent me one, just dropped me a quick tweet to let me know that I've missed his questions. I'm not sure how that happened, mate, sorry about that. And I've noticed I've also missed a couple of other questions as well, so I don't know if that was just me rushing yesterday, I didn't actually pick all the questions up. Anyway, I thought I'd just do a quick third part, so you're getting a bit extra this week, guys. So I've got a couple of questions. I've got questions from Sega sent me one, Mark, a question from 16-bit J, and also from Sufami Dan. So the first question is from 16-bit J, and J asks, can I name a few Amiga games that I recall fondly, as it was the gaming system that he cut his teeth on? The main games that really I can remember from back then, Jay, would be games like Xenon 2, Magic Pockets, Gods, Monkey Island 1 and 2. They were huge. I love those games to bits. Speedball 2. What was that one? Shadow Warriors. I think that's what it was called. It was like a Ninja Gaiden game. I think it was Shadow Warriors. That was an excellent game. What else did I played? The problem is the Amiga as well. I played so many games back then. It's really hard to try and remember, like the majority of them. But those are the main ones. And Barbarian, like Kirby Warriors in particular, was a really big one for me. I love that game. Project X, which is a great shooter, but geez, like Team 17, it's so hard. Really good game though. What else did I play? I played Nightbreed on my mate's Amiga when he had one. He got an Amiga before me, and he had the Nightbreed pack. And it was really interesting watching 16-bit Brothers not long ago. They were talking about Nightbreed, and it was really cool seeing that footage because it took me right back, a major nostalgia trip. But yeah, those are the main ones. Those are the ones that I can recall at the moment. Oh, and of course, the Last Ninja series as well, Last Ninja games, and Turrican. Oh yeah, they're all coming back now. Yeah, the best ones for me though are probably the Monkey Island games, because those games were fantastic at the time. I really loved the first one, and LeChuck's Revenge was just superb. So yeah, those are some of the best Amiga games. So the next question is from Sufami Dan, so thank you Dan. And he asks, am I a fan of Dragon Ball Z? To be honest Dan, I've never seen it, so I don't know. I'm aware of it, I'm aware of the video games and the cartoon, but no, I've never seen it, so I really don't know much about it. Sorry, mate. Right, so on to the questions from Mark. Sega sent me one. And his first question: if you work for a games company, what job would you like to be responsible for in the process of making a new game? That's a good question, Mark. Well, I'm not artistic, so I couldn't do what Soul Funk Retro does. I couldn't actually do all the art for the game. I can't code, so I couldn't do that. Well, I say I can't code, I've never even tried, I don't even know where to start with that. Probably more the marketing and doing the interviews and the press would be more my skill level. I'll be better at that, and promoting the game and, you know, pushing it forward. And, you know, because I'm not, in terms of like the technical side of actually putting the game together, I wouldn't even have a clue where to start, but that would probably be my best position, I reckon. What was your first YouTube video you ever watched and favourite viral video? The first YouTube video I ever watched, I ran not a bloody clue, to be quite honest with you. I mean, before I started watching retro gamers and making videos and all of that, I suppose most casual people who use YouTube, I used to watch random stuff, so it'd be DIY tutorials, and anything I needed help with, I'd just go on there and see if anyone got a video, how to fix something or do a job. Those were the main things I used to watch. Viral videos I never watched. All these like cat videos and babies and all that sort of stuff. None of that has ever interested me the slightest. So yeah, I wouldn't have a clue about those. Sorry, mate. Next one. It was sad news to learn that Leonard Nimoy has passed recently. Was Spock your favourite Star Trek character, and can you name who he voice acted in Transformers the animated movie? No, I can't. I haven't got a clue, mate. In terms of Spock being my favourite character, no, he wasn't. Probably Kirk was my favourite, because I really liked Shatner's portrayal. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. And yeah, going forward, like in Next Generation, which was my favourite version of Star Trek. I like the original series, but Next Generation was really where I got into Star Trek. So that would have been like Data, because, you know, Brent Spiner was just amazing in that. Yeah. So when do you see the occasional new modern TV show or comedy? How come they cannot seem to nail the quality of the theme tune intros of the 20th century, the 80s and 90s, of some of the most memorable jingles ever? What are your thoughts behind this? So when I see the occasional new modern TV show or comedy, Basically, why haven't they got good, catchy intros like the old days? That's a really good question, actually, because I mean, there aren't a lot of comedies on TV these days anyway. I mean, there was My Family a few years, but that's not on anymore. There's the one with Lee Mack, Not Going Out, that's on now. But yeah, they all pretty much have pretty standard intro music, and I don't really have catchy. No, not Only Fools and Horses is one of the most iconic intros ever. You know, everyone remembers that song. So yeah, it's really quite strange that they don't do that anymore. And then I think TV has changed a lot, especially in this country anyway. And in terms of comedy shows in particular, there really isn't a big market for it. It's more reality TV nowadays, is what they hang their hat on, and documentaries, not good documentaries either. Don't get me wrong, I know the boss of 77 is going to list a load of really great documentaries in the comments now, but there are the occasional good documentary, mostly on BBC4. But for the most part, like if you're watching Channel 4, Channel 5, it's all about immigrants and being on the dole, and the world's a really dark and depressing place. So that's a bit of a shame. Yeah, I mean, yeah. The only shows really that have like catchy intros was like The Chase and, you know, quiz shows. They're not brilliant, but I mean, you can kind of remember them. Like the new one, 1,000 Heartbeats. I'm not a big fan of the show, but because of the stupid live band. But the music's really catchy and it's very memorable. But yeah, I don't know. I think just times have changed in the way they make TV, to be quite honest with you. Occasionally I see the odd 80s or 70s themed bars around. I've yet to see a 90s themed bar. Have you ever seen one? And if not, why can't we get love for the 90s? I totally agree, mate. I mean, I've not been out to bars for a long time. I don't even remember the last time I went out drinking properly. It was probably in my 20s. And yeah, it was always 80s bars, and I don't like 80s bars myself. My friends love them. But me personally, the 80s music, the stuff that the mainstream people that like the 80s, like Duran Duran and Spandau Ballet and all that kind of stuff, it doesn't appeal to me. For the 80s, for me, it was Kylie Minogue, Michael Jackson and Madonna. And, you know, you get a couple of those tracks, but for the most part, you don't. It's all the stuff that I don't like about the 80s, so I never really enjoyed going to those bars. So a 90s bar would be an absolutely brilliant idea. I'm surprised that nobody's done that. I'm sure someone must have done it somewhere, but yeah, that would be a good idea, because, you know, 90s music, you've got a lot of variety across a lot of different genres, and it'd be a more of an interesting experience, and makes sense now we're all getting older. Okay, do you like the way that, the way Americans use telephone numbers in the sense they are easy to remember? For example, if you want all of your retro gaming news, call 1-800-SNES-tastic. We haven't incorporated that over here, and would be much easier to remember numbers. Maybe we do, and I'm late to the party. Yeah, I don't think we do either, mate. I'm not aware of that anyway. Yeah, because they always, when you see American TV shows and stuff, they used to always go by the letters on the keypad, and also, as you say, like they'd have like SNES-tastic, and you just work out the numbers that way. I don't know why we don't ever do that. Yeah, I don't know, to be honest with you. That's a good question. Do you like steak? And if so, what is the biggest ounce steak that you've ever had the pleasure of scoffing? I never go above about an 8 ounce, because I don't eat steak very often at all. But on occasion when I've had it, yeah, that's about as big as I can go. I can't go massive, because I'd have like the meat sweats and I'd be sick, and it's just not a pretty sight. But do you like board games? And if so, what is your favourite game? Do you own any still? And would you ever consider making a video on one? I don't own any at the moment. Growing up, I used to like games like Operation. Not really technically a board. I suppose it is a board game, but it really isn't, is it? Yeah, Operation, Cluedo, Monopoly, Scrabble, anything like that really, always good. As I don't own any at the moment, and don't plan on buying any either. So I got enough stuff going on without getting involved in all that. I never saw or remember seeing a Neo Geo console in the shops when it was released. In fact, that's the one console I have hardly any knowledge on. I know more about the games through experiencing them through the arcades. Was there a Neo Geo Power console release, or was it cartridge or disc based? To be honest, mate, I wouldn't have a clue. I really wanted to get into Neo Geo, but when I look on eBay, I'm very confused as to what to buy. It seems there are so many different versions or variants of the console. Which is the original console, and would really appreciate you shedding some light on the matter, as I would like to purchase one. To be honest, mate, I don't know enough about it myself. The best person to talk to would be King Arthur, who's a big Neo Geo guy on YouTube. So what I'll do is I'll put a link down below to his channel, so click on that, have a word with Tom, and Tom will be able to clear it all up for you, because he's an expert. Is there a console you wish you knew more about and would like to collect for? Probably the Virtual Boy. It's the only one I've never really dabbled with, and I'd like to get one of those at some point. Not only because I really want to try it, but also it's a really cool ornament. Whenever I see Shane News video and he's got it in the background, it looks brilliant. But I'm just really fascinated by the actual system itself and how it works and the 3D effect, and see how good it actually is. I would love to buy games for that. I'm assuming because there's a small number of games, some of the games are going to be quite pricey, but yeah, that's probably the one I'd go for. Okay, what do you think is aging better, the PlayStation 1, the PlayStation 2 or the PlayStation 3 games? PS3 I'd probably discount it because it's too early to say yet. They still look really good. PS2 looks okay, some better than others. I would say really the PS1 is aging the best because of it's had a lot more time to mature, and yeah, the 3D games don't look particularly brilliant, but it also depends on how you play them. If you play them on a modern TV, they look like shite, but if you play them on a CRT, I think they still look fine and they age exceptionally well. Tekken 3 is a good example. I played that on a CRT, it looked beautiful, the colours were great. You know, alright, fair enough, it's blocky and everything, but that's the technology of the time, so you just have to look past that. But I thought it looked really good. Put it on an LCD and it looked horrendous. It did not look right at all. So you have to play 3D PlayStation 1 games on a CRT to get the best effect. The 2D games obviously still look fantastic. 2D is always going to look good. So yeah, I'll go PlayStation 1 looks the best. Have you got any recommendations on movies that you've seen recently that you may want to share with us? Not at the moment, mate. I have got to do a video actually. I've watched a few, so I've got a couple more just to watch, and then I'll be doing a new film chat video, so look out for that. And obviously there is going to be a film in there that I've never seen before and know nothing about, so I'm looking forward to watching that so I can tell you what I think of it. If video games were officially deemed an addiction, I think they are anyway, would you defend for it being an ill statement, or would you be happy to accept that they are? For me, that's one addiction to be proud of. Yeah, they are an addiction. They can be an addiction, like anything really, like alcohol, drugs, tobacco, whatever it may be. You know, gambling. Of course, gaming can be an addiction. You do have to control the amount of time that you put into it. I mean, collecting is definitely an addiction. There's no doubt about that. There's, you know, there's the addiction of the hunt, and you know, yeah, it can get a bit out of hand. But in terms of the actual gaming itself, yes, absolutely. If you let it, you can take control of your life, and you could just spend hours and hours and not go out and do anything and just play games. And it is a great addiction to have, but you have to, like any addiction, manage it and control it and not lose control of it. You know, when we were kids, it's not really an addiction because as a kid, that's just what you do and you're hanging with your friends and everything, so you are being more social. As an adult, it's a little bit different, I think, because you can, if you're not careful, close yourself off a little bit. And especially these days, I think even the kids today probably as well, with the modern internet and obviously being able to use the online gaming, and it's kind of separated. There's no social aspect to that really. They will always argue on the gaming front, on the business side, that there is a social aspect, but it's not. It's never as good as local multiplayer, having your mates around, having some beers, or if you're a kid, just hanging out and just chilling with your friends and playing games together and playing two-player. There's no better way of playing games than doing that, I think. The online multiplayer, just sitting in your room with your headset on, talking trash, is not the way to play video games. And I don't actually class online multiplayer as playing video games. I know that that's the way they're going and it's becoming a big thing, but to me personally, and for probably a younger generation, that is what they class as gaming. That isn't gaming to me. The single player experience and the two-player local cooperative modes and battle modes, that is what gaming is. Did you know that Konami makes slot machines in Vegas? No, I didn't actually, mate. I wasn't aware of that. That's interesting. Why are they making slot machines? They should be making more games. That'd be better. Do you remember when some McDonald's used to have N64s in them that you could play with? I didn't, mate. To be honest, at the N64 stage, I was like major PlayStation 1 fan. Like everybody I knew, we all had PS1s. And then when I sold my PS1 because the PS2 was coming out, I bought an N64 from, I think, Toys R Us, just out of interest, because I saw Diddy Kong Racing on the pod and I really liked it and I thought it was cool. And I thought, well, I've got no console at the moment, so I might as well just buy one to tide me over. And yeah, and then I eventually sold that and bought a Dreamcast because they're going dirt cheap in Argos for about 50 quid. So yeah, and then that went, and then the PS2 came out and got that on launch. So I don't really have much memory of what happened with the N64 at that time, so I wouldn't have been aware that was happening either. Okay, and finally, has there ever been a Thundercats video game on the Commodore 64, mate? I can't believe they have not created one. yeah, I'm pretty much 100% certain I played a Thundercats video game on the Commodore 64, and it was also available on Spectrum. And if I remember rightly, I'm sure that Lawn Boys Post 1975, Dave, made a gameplay for the Spectrum version a long time ago. I'm sure he did. But yeah, I remember. I don't know if it is good, but I remember in my memory, as a child, I really enjoyed the game on the Commodore 64. It may be shit, obviously, because I'm now a lot older, and it is nostalgia and rose-tinted glasses. But from memory, I really enjoyed it. So yeah, check out that. Check out YouTube, do a search. There's bound to be some gameplay of it. Alright, so there you go, guys. Those are the final questions. Apologies to Safami Dan, 16-Bit J, and Sega sent me one for not including those in the first two parts. I don't know why I missed them. Clearly an oversight. But I've amended that now, hopefully. So thank you for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like, comment, share and subscribe, and I'll see you again next Friday.